Welcome everybody to the Pocket Pipe Fitter Calculator tutorial. Today we're going to go through the settings tab. You'll find this screen on just about every single screen that we have. Some of them the functions may change, but this should be the standard layout. I want to give you a brief run through. As you'll see at the top, you've got your title, which will tell you what screen you're on. There's a swap to manual input. You have your radio buttons for DIN, imperial, and metric. Then you have your pipe size over here. You can set your root gap. We scroll down, you'll see there's a set radius for fittings 1 and 2 because there's 2 fittings in this offset. You can set your preset it to a short radius, a long radius, or a 3R fitting, or you can enter a custom multiplier. There's a factory 45 and a custom cut. And as we scroll down, you'll see there's also a help section that covers basically everything you see on the screen. Click one of the buttons and you'll see it expands open to give you a description of that function. Everything is in here. Hopefully this video will help clarify a few things. The one thing I want to show you, when you select DIN, your 3R fitting is not available anymore, as the DIN fittings are short radius and long radius in this application. The multiplier is not used as well, as they are preset fittings. You click back on imperial and your 3R fitting is available. That is kind of a feature in there, the safeguard from pressing the wrong buttons. Let's click back up to the top here. You'll see the manual input actually changes it. The DIN feature goes away and you do not need DIN. Basically it's just a calculation, either feet and inches or centimeters and millimeters. Your pipe size disappears and you now enter the actual pipe OD. And you scroll down, you no longer have the radius buttons. You actually will manually enter in your takeouts to calculate in the application. This is for people that actually just want to enter the data themselves. I'd recommend using the auto feature, but this is also available. You click back and everything will swap back to the auto input. You click on the drop down for pipe size and you can select whichever size that you need. We can do a 10-inch. If you do metric, you'll see it swaps to 250 millimeters. Your drop down is in millimeters. You can toggle it back and forth. Your root gap, there's a ×2 box here. If you only want to take out one root gap, some fitters actually prefer that, you can just uncheck that box and it'll only subtract one root gap from your calculation. It's checked by default to do a root gap on both. If you scroll down here, you'll see a checkbox next to set the radius for fittings 1 and 2. That's basically if you wanted to use a long radius fitting on both sides of the offset, you would just leave that checked. If you want to set the radius different for both fittings, if that's something that you wanted to do, the option is available. It's not very common, but it is available to do that. You could do a 3 radius fitting for number 2 and a long radius fitting for number 1. If you check that box, it'll collapse that and reduce it back to using the same value for both. If you notice when you select these buttons, your multiplier changes. That's basically multiplying the pipe size by that multiplier to give you the fitting radius or the fitting makeup or takeout. You can actually enter in a 5 and that will give you a 5 radius fitting. So basically these are just presets, but the multiplier is the value that the app uses in determining your fitting takeout. The factory 45, that's used if anything under 4-inch. If you're using a 45-degree fitting, there's some preset information which the fitting does not follow the standard trig formulas in order to find the takeout. So you'll actually have to use the factory preset. If you select custom cut, it's going to calculate your fitting based on a 90 and then whatever angle your fitting is. So if you have this checked and it's a 45, and you're using a factory fitting, your answers will not come out correct. You will need to select custom cut. That's the basic run through on the settings. If you have any questions, feel free to see us on Facebook, or you can email me through the app. I hope this helps you guys out, and we'll have other tutorials available. Thank you.